The following recording is an older one of mine, but before we head in, I want to show you the following. A brand new upcoming course all about creating rocks. We will be tackling modular pieces, rocks, boulders, different sizes and different techniques that come with it. Further developing the topology and unwrapping in Maya and O3 software, creating masks and textures in Substance Paint or Designer and Quixel, and setting up the shader from scratch in Engine, showing different methods of texturing, options within the shader, and shader methods as a whole, and much more, which will be shown in upcoming videos, and finally the release of the course. In the meantime, check out the other resources AnArtBrand has to offer in the links down below. And with that said, enjoy the video.
Let's dive right into it. So for the grass, it's pretty easy. Start off with just a shape and paraboloid, stupid name, and run through a level. And it's basically this is the grass blade, and to get a little cut in there, I just use a transform to make it a bit thinner and subtract it from there with around 0.3 value. Then another gradient to get some color variation going in there, and also some depth, and then slope for some cuts in there with just a cloud node. This is like a bit of a custom node. Basically what I did, I just grabbed the clouds node and got rid of some of the noise in there and exported that as a custom node. So if I get a normal clouds node in here and plug it in, yeah, you will see the difference. So if I this is now, it creates some bigger cuts instead of all those tiny ones. Otherwise, I could run the clouds 2 node through a transform and make a tile or something, but it's way easier. All that's just the I warp the grass like this with just a normal paraboloid thingy and run through levels, so you get these warps here. This one I'll make a bit smaller for some variation as well, and then run through a warp. So I have 3 variations of grass blades, and then to center them like this. There we go. So I rendered that through a tile samplers. These are the bigger grass blades. So just to show you, if we mask, I think I'm blind. Am I blind? Oh yeah, I exposed the parameter. That's why I think I can just do this, right? Yeah, you already see what happens there. There you go. And for the smaller grass there as well. And I'm probably wondering, Bram, how did you get that flow going there? Because that was one of the things I was wondering, and how I'm going to do it as well. I had no clue how some other people did that, like the little flow you got going here. It's fucking easy, to be honest. I just thought like the answer has to be somewhere in these inputs. So the names already give it away. You have the displacement map and the rotation map input. And for the masking, then of course want the tile grass to be everywhere. So I use the mask here, and that's really simple. Just a Perlin noise run through a blur, and then this, and the blur is just there. I believe to yeah, you know, you don't really need to blur unless your eyes there, but and if you're wondering how you do this, it's always something I wondered when checking out other people's videos. Hit D on your keyboard and you can dock a node in there. Some other useful shortcuts, I mean, while we at it, if you want all the outputs from this node to go to this node, hold shift and drag them like this. And if you want to organize your graphs a bit more, control shift, wait, hold up. Sorry, alt shift, there we go. And you can get a point here and just organize it a bit better. So if we look at displacement and rotation map, it's really simple. Just literally some plasma right here. Then run uniform blur through it with the Perlin, and the Perlin I used a splatter because it will warp around these paraboloids or whatever they are called again. Like you saw here, you saw the effect right here. So I thought it like, I reckon that if I did the same thing here with more paraboloids, run the slope through them and then blur it, you get sort of a burden noise, but a bit more smoother, with still the depth going on in there. Yeah, plasma, and then blurred out with basically this, to get those curves going, I guess, there. And I used an auto level, and this is basically, you can probably do a better job at this, but I mean, this works as well. This is basically the rotation and displacement map. So if we disable this displacement map intensity, you still get something interesting, but yeah, this looks a bit more natural, especially if we disable this one here. Then we just get the all reliable one, what everyone does. I mean, this looks alright. I mean, this is grass as well, but it looks more like you know, not natural grass, like more like you just mowed the grass and or whatever you got, and just laying there dead. But yeah, some rotation map in there, and of course you have to disable this. There you go. Now you got a nice flow going in there. And let's let you know that just make the map, plug it in the displacement map and rotation map input, and crank this all the way up. You can get a bit of rotation in there. It could be nice to get some extra variation there. It's tiny detail, whatever you want. And the same goes for the small one, but we only use a rotation map in there since we don't really need a displacement there. And apparently I used this one. Sure, I didn't use this one. Oh, yeah, because how do I explain this? You can see that there's a more color variation, gray variation going on there. You can see this back here as well. I don't really need it there since this is the base grass. Just want to get a basic flow going in there. So literally now, if you blend this together, like I do here, you already have your material, basically. But I want to have those little, make them interesting, those little plants thingies as well. What you could do if you really want, but I thought there weren't really flowers, so not sure if I want to do that. But if you really want, you can do this, stuff like this. You have, like little flowers. I think I'm just going to update it back, expose this pyramid as well, because I think it's just nice to have, in my opinion. I mean, it looks interesting. I know they aren't really flowers, but you know what I mean. It's interesting. So from there, same thing here. What I basically did was I just picked this map and ran it through the mask here. There we go. So the little clovers or whatever would spawn in areas where the tall grass isn't present. So histogram scan that shit and just get some variation there. So like there's a little chance that it can still spawn there, one of these dots here, to make it a bit more interesting. As you can see, it searches up the big areas, but also to make it a bit more natural, it spawns single ones as well. So how the clovers are made, yeah, it's really interesting here. This goes into here to create a mask. This is just random mask creation. You don't have to follow this, just throw some random noise together and you probably get an interesting result as well. It's not that hard. So the clovers are pretty easy. It's just literally a shape, level that shit, and to get a better edge going there, not so blurry. Then use quad transform to get this shape here. Transform it to the center, mirrored it, get a hard shape there, and basically got a grass blade for the cut in the center there. Just use transform, got in there, and then the gradient node there to get the gradient going, and use a splatter circular to get these little lads going. There we go. So if you have 1, 2, and just a single leaf as well, as you can see there, 3. So I have 3 variations again. I'll always try to aim for 3. I think it's the best one. And yeah, this is also, again, just random masking, dirt, transform, just zoomed in, then blurred, level, and there you go. I mean, it isn't tileable, but it still works, and it just spawns randomly. It doesn't have to be tileable, at least the mask. So from there it's pretty easy, just combine the little clovers or whatever with the grass, and on top of that you bring up the tall grass. This is where it really gets interesting in my opinion. Just there's a big difference here, which I really like. This already looks pretty interesting. The only thing you have to do now is just add the colors. So for the roughness, it's pretty easy as well. Just always, first thing I always do is just bring the contrast really close to one another, as you can see. And since I want some variation in roughness to get the edges a bit more highlighted, like the cuts there, what I did, I use an ambient occlusion with a low radius and a really high height depth, and just blend it together to get this effect here, and just some random noises to get some variation there. I mean, with Stylized, in my opinion, especially like more of the hand paint stuff, all the magic happens in the albedo. So roughness is just a nice extra in my opinion. I mean, it works better for stone, but for the grass, yeah, I didn't really feel like that it should be the most roughness. I tried putting this high here as well, but it looks pretty crappy. This just works in my opinion, since it's stylized. For the height, I want some interesting height for the some interesting height for the render. So first thing I tried was literally this, and this is going to look like shit, lads. So if I put this in here, yeah, I mean, I guess it looks like more like grass now, but look at this. This is doesn't want. If you look from the front, alright, that just look interesting, but yeah, this is a bit weird. So what I did there is just make, let's put it back to here, just the clouds too, non-uniform blur, some contrast to bring it together a bit more, because I didn't want too much curves in there. I mean, I like curves, but not too much of them. Blur them with this to get some high variation in there. Oh, apparently it disabled that. Oh, never mind that. I just also disabled this one. What are you doing? I guess I just didn't like it. I just felt like, just gonna put some 0 instead of removing it, you know. What happens if I... Oh, nothing. Yeah, just a bit of extra of that. Alright. And to still get some of the grass height going in there, what I decided to do is just run this one through a non-uniform blur with itself and add it in here. And again, this is on 0 as well for some reason. Just a grunge map blurred out to get some height version there. Apparently I experiment a lot with the height and only managed to basically do this with some grass on top of it. So this one, and this one can basically be removed. But I mean, the graph's already pretty small in itself, so fuck it. But yeah, I should clean it up. To be honest, I should clean it up. So now for the color, I think the most interesting part, again, quite simple. What I did was first ran some basic colors in there, literally 2 darker ones for the base and lighter ones for the grass. And as you can see, since we added the depth in there with the gradient node, literally the height map does the magic for us. As we drag this here, you see it just follows the from black to white value. So that's just really easy. You already got some grass going here. To make it a bit more interesting, what I did was again I grabbed an ambient occlusion node and to get some like dirt going in there. So uniform blur to get rid of those hard pixel edge there, and then run into a gradient, just brown, and this one. Let's slide it down. Oh, that's the one, the alpha one. And basically blended that together here to get some brown in there as well. From there, I used a clamp node to highlight some of the more higher sitting grass. So again, just a bit of yellow there, and there you go. As you can see, it's a bit more highlight now, which I prefer. So this really looks like a sort of hand painted texture, I guess. But now for the magic, for the higher grass, let's see, where should I start? Just go with flow, I guess. So as some contrast, this also looked pretty interesting on itself. But yeah, what if we just, you know, while we edit? Yeah, it looks a bit boring right now, but I mean, yeah, Albedo, it looks interesting. But yeah, as you can see, that's why I used the contrast node as well. I also use this on the bricks. It's got some. It's a bit like feels a bit flat, as in there's someone put a gray mask over it and set the opacity of the gray color to 25%, you know. So to get rid of that and to get some more contrast in, basically just get this node and crank the shit up like this, pretty high, and then blend it together with the copy and just bring the opacity down a bit. So we first had this, as you can see, it looked like this, and then we bring it like this to get some more contrast in there, some more color. So basically we went from this to this, which really looks already looks a lot more interesting. Then I use a slope blur to slope this, and then blend together to make it feel a bit more hand painted, I guess, like little little bits of when you use like a fancy oil brush in Photoshop or something. Yeah, also have some like marks and kind of stuff. Not really sure how to explain it. And I just used a mask of this here clamp auto levels invert to only get it down to the base, because it would look weird to have it on top of here, like little weird pieces on top of there. Blur it a bit, and there we go. So it's only at the base. Now then the clovers, or plants, I'm still not sure what to call them. Literally gradient. Again, the mask we created does the work for us. The black and white file, as you can see. And oh, that was weird. HL for some color variation if you want to. Just blend them in there with max light, and you can also just bring them down a bit if you want. And now where the magic happens again, the tall grass. Literally 2 nodes. Here you go, the gradient map. You can also just scroll this a bit more if you want, or we can make it a bit more white. It's interesting as well, but too white. But yeah, you know, just do whatever you want. There we go. I'm basically ruining my own deck here. So I have this up for sale, but I'm literally explaining how you can make it yourself for free right now. Yeah, I'm not great of a businessman. But yeah, just blend it in there, as you can see, and you can already color it down, in my opinion. What did I do here? Oh yeah. To give some detail to it. So as you can see, give it some more. Basically, a friend of mine, I threw it in the Discord and was like, "Hey, what's this?" And he's just, "Hey, maybe you can get some sort of AO going in there, some ambient occlusion." So what I did is literally took the ambient occlusion node, made it a bit bluish. Also get some interesting color variations in there, and added a bit of blue under the blades, basically with the ambient occlusion node, and that made definitely a lot more interesting, as you can see. HL node if you want to change the colors a bit more, and there you go. Now you have the nice grass material. If you're really smart lad, you would just take a screenshot of this here right now, since it's stylable. But yeah, I mean, what you're gonna gain from it, it's pretty low res. So yeah, just for the normal, it's literally just the I always use a blur node to in the beginning. I don't know, just to connect everything up. Just the height we created before, and run through a normal node, not too high. You don't want this to be too high. Looks ugly. Roughness, height, metallic, obviously off, and the air node. This is literally how the material is made. So I hope this helped a few of you. It's a bit of a mess here. But yeah, I mean, it's for myself. If it was at work, I would probably clean it up.